time now, I'm going to talk about femcels versus incels. So we've heard about incels, but now we're getting the femcel community. This is actually news to me, but let's talk about it. Gender socialization may shape the way we react to sexual rejection. So what's the difference between femcels and incels? So the femcel community consists of women who identify as involuntarily celibate, steadily gaining attention and membership. Incels are involuntary celibate men. But unlike incels, femcels typically attribute their involuntary celibacy to their appearance. And femcels appear to differ from incels in their emotions and coping mechanisms. Psychological differences between femcels and incels might be attributed to gender socialization. So incels, that word was being used going back to 1997. An inclusive environment for lonely people of any gender. The community shifted now to be exclusively male, and it's been connected with hatred and violence towards women, including several mass killings. But that's because there's a select few that definitely feel so celibate because they're bitter, anger, resentment towards women. They've gone the route of where like nice guys go, right? Nice guys that'll act like they're wonderful people at the very beginning and give all this showering and love and affection. But the truth is, inside, they're very hypocritical, sanctimonious, they're narcissistic, and they're manipulative. And so when the men don't have anybody to go after, or their friend zone, or not even with anyone, they just feel like there's nobody that's going to want to be with them, and then there are some that just snap. These are the ones that we're talking about. The femcel community is now getting attention and membership in response to the red pill community, which claims to see the truth, or the reference to the Matrix, that women are overprivileged. Femcels created the pink pill, proposes that unattractive women are underprivileged, including in sexual relations. And both incel and femcel communities have been banned on Reddit for inciting hate, yet some pink pill communities such as, there's others. They have a Reddit page that you talk about here. And so incels, the Reddit site is r/Vindicta, Vindicta. They often attribute sexual rejection to their looks and believe that beauty is a science. On a top voted post titled Beauty is Universal, top comments attribute the beauty of women to share features like a symmetrical face, short philtrum, full lips, small noses, positive eye tilt, neotenous features, and a smaller jaw or chin. Incels, there's little hate or resentment towards men, so the members of communities express both a distaste for prevalent beauty standards and a strong desire to achieve these very beauty standards through soft maxing, makeup, styling, perfume, and hard maxing, which is cosmetic surgery. So why do femcels alter their looks to conform to popular standards, rather than resenting rejectors? Gender socialization likely explains these coping styles and the tendency to internalize or externalize one's negative emotions. So guys, it's a mindset. And there's not anything where guys worry about beauty standards. There's a difference of your femcels or incels. The guys are not worried about that so much. I mean, are they going to do anything about grooming themselves or making themselves more appealing? It's just the look that they have, and that's what they were built. That's how they were born. But for women, when they know they have makeup, they can have certain procedures done. It's acceptable for them, and it's expected almost. So when you look at what's going on, women are just being put together and say, okay, they don't want to be glamorized. They don't want to be feminine. They don't want to look a certain way. If some women feel like they're just they're homely, or they're tomboyish, something like that. Or they just feel like, well, their weight, their size, and all this, when they get older. I always feel that happens when you get older. It's like teens and 20s, it's one thing. But when women get past that certain age, the femcel part really does come to play. Because at that point, past 30 years old, the way you might have approached and might put yourself together to appeal to a man has changed altogether. And I think that's something that's very common right now. For guys, they're not necessarily changing themselves. They might be improving themselves and their status or their clout. But what are they necessarily doing for themselves? There's nothing there's really out there for cosmetic surgery for guys. You're not wearing makeup unless you want to. What, hair product? I mean, what is it that you do to make yourself look more, that you can enhance cosmetically or enhance aesthetically to make a man more pleasing? We don't know. I mean, there's not anything out there that's out there for anybody to have to help with that. So they also say that men are found to be more aggressive after interpersonal rejection compared to women. And the rhetoric of incels, women and girls do not generally have as much power in society as men and boys, furthering the tendency of femcels to change themselves rather than try to bend to others to their will. Well, it's just nonconformity. And that's really what femcels and incels have in common. They're nonconformists. Pretty much. And I don't know if the involuntary celibate idea really just sticks out. I think just some people are just celibate because they just, the effort of trying to, it's really just giving up. It's not like we're trying to have a vow of celibacy, but we're just giving up as men and women. We just stop trying. We're just not going out there. So it's unclear the technique of weaponizing beauty will solve the problem for most femcels. It won't solve the bigger societal issue of beauty privilege. Yet while attractiveness is related to certain societal privileges, particularly the ability to secure a mate, the beliefs of some femcels are about a happily ever after are not rooted in science, that more physically attractive people tend to have shorter marriages and more likely to divorce. Actually less attractive, or might their rejection be related to other factors like lack of social skills, shyness, body dysmorphia, or racial discrimination? So there's new technology, the new research, hopefully they say, that will shed light on the psychology of femcels. Interesting story, and probably more common than you think. So you have those that are involuntary celibate, unlike all of the rest of you. That might be depraved or debaucherous.